What's up, everybody? This is GreyMan here. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully well. So today's topic, we're going to discuss, an emergency backpack for a child. And what I mean by child is probably roughly around the age of 13 and under. Because once they get past that age, they're more kind of like more of a young adult, and their needs are going to be assessed differently. So hopefully this will differentiate between the two. And like I said, hopefully with this little thing that I'm going to go over here, hopefully it'll help some of you folks who may have pondered what should you do for an emergency, backpack for a child, kind of in that age group. And what I'm really kind of focusing on is school-age children. Once they start getting to school, let's say around 5 or 6, and so on and so forth. Because the younger, smaller children, of course, that would be totally different. If you have, let's say, an infant or a toddler that is at home with you that has specific needs. So this is kind of a generalization, and maybe hopefully will point some of you folks in the right direction who have maybe had questions in the past in regards of some ideas and what to do for, let's say, an emergency kit slash go bag slash backpack, however you want to look at it, and go from there. So we're kind of going to run through this quickly. It won't be too much of a long video, as I always say, right? But anyways, so you kind of want to start off with a small backpack. It doesn't have to be something super expensive backpack, but the better the quality, the longer the durability, and so on and so forth. Now, for this situation, I would suggest a bright color. And the reason I say this is because you want them to be seen. The whole reason behind this is not if you're at home with the family and something happens and you take off. This is a situation where your child, let's say, rides a bike to school. Your child, let's say, walks back and forth. And something bad happens, something situational happens where you are separated from your child, and hopefully they have a concept of how to get home or something of that nature. You've sat down with them and made a plan with your children, because that is where it first starts, is sitting down with these children and having a plan besides having the backpack and the necessary essentials inside of it. So make sure you have a plan, make sure you have these conversations, make sure you kind of go over these conversations at least maybe once a month or so to kind of reinforce and reiterate what to do in certain scenarios and stuff like that. Alright, so back to my little list here of what I think that should go into something like this, like a little emergency backpack. And like I said, you can choose colors like orange, red, yellow. If the kid has a favorite color, that's a very bright color. Something if there's an all-out points bulletin on trying to find this child, or you're trying to find this child, you can see this bright backpack. At least this is my opinion. And like I said, anything I say on this channel is based on my opinion. Another thing I would suggest building this bag out with is, a waterproof flashlight. And I would check when you put a waterproof flashlight in there, if it's a rechargeable, make sure it's charged, on a weekly basis. Keep an eye on it. If it's battery powered, maybe throw an extra set of batteries in there along with that flashlight. Because if it's, let's say it's dusk or it's dark or they get stuck somewhere where they need to see, flashlight will make a world of difference for a child's mind. It brings a little bit of safety inside of that panic, if you kind of get what I'm saying. And like I said, spare batteries for that. Now, some people may think this way, but also like a shampoo or a body wash, if they get dirty or clean and they need, they want to wash their hands or something like that. Having some of those creature comforts of something that brings normality to their lives, a little shampoo. You can buy the little, travel packs, of shampoo and like hand soap and stuff like that. I would also toss that in there. And along with, let's say a toothbrush or and some toothpaste. This is going to be kind of redundant on certain things that you would have in your, let's say your at-home go bag or whatnot. You kind of want to have these redundancies set in there in case this is all they have. Let's say they get taken, let's say something happens and everybody gets directed to some sort of emergency shelter, and they will already have these necessities on hand, just so that you guys understand why I'm saying, shampoo, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, because let's say they're stuck at the school or they're moved to a emergency shelter or something like that. They're going to have some of these comforts there. You don't want to depend on the people there. You want them to have their own stuff. And some people would, also want to say, with the times that we're in, they want to say some hand sanitizer or something like that. Whatever the case may be, you don't have to add that in there, but, things of that nature, you know what I mean? A couple of those, toiletries and things like that. Another thing is, depending on the age of the child, I would also suggest, there's some organic stuff that you can use out there, for, let's say, tummy aches. Maybe if they're old enough to understand their concept and they do take some sort of medication, let's say like a Tylenol or an ibuprofen or whatever the case may be. I'm not recommending this. I'm just saying that this is something depending on their age, they may have something if they have an issue, you know what I mean, because their stomach's going to be all in knots. And there's essential oils that you can use that are made out of, I think there's one called Tummy Ease. I can't think of the company's name, but I know it has like spearmint and peppermint and clove and a few other things on there, and they kind of rub it on their belly. And it kind of brings a little relaxation to that and kind of helps ease that. I'll see if I can find the link to that, but there's also just things like that, things that are all natural, things that have a long-term shelf life and stuff like that. For the medical stuff, you want to throw a few Band-Aids in there, maybe some gauze pads, maybe some, triple antibiotic cream in there, you know what I mean, if they know, and when I say this, this is, minor scrapes, and boo-boos per se, right? Because you also want to make sure that anything you put in this bag, you've gone over with the child with, and you've explained to them how to use it, when to use it, and why to use it. So like I said, key thing is making that plan and going over everything in this bag as well. All right, so moving on past that, you want to throw a few snacks in there, maybe some granola bars, maybe a protein bar, maybe even something that's, sweet. And what I mean, let's say, a little thing of honey or something like that, or some hard candy. Actually, hard candy would probably be really good. Hard candy, kids like to, it helps ease their mind, and it gives them a boost of energy with this hard candy. Something in there, something sweet, along with those granola bars or protein bars or something like that. Something nutritious that you can throw in there, as well as maybe something sweet for them to have some sort of comfort as well. All this is kind of geared around towards easing their mind. And also, if you can, depending on the weight, I would also suggest, a bottle of water, because most kids are not going to know how to use some sort of purification tablets and all that stuff like that. So I wouldn't dive into that realm of things without, adult supervision. But, a bottle of water, maybe if you want to do something, you can get a bottle of water and maybe one of the little things of like Propel that I've showed you guys in the past, which has electrolytes in it and gives it some flavor to it, but maybe a bottle or two of water, depending on the size of the child, of course, and how much weight they can handle with this bag. You don't want to go too overboard with it and weight them down, you know what I mean? You don't want to, put an 80-pound bag on a, 35, 40, 50-pound child, you know what I mean? Also, another tip to me is where it's really important is if let's say in my situation down here in Florida, we have hurricanes, nasty tropical storms, and just hellacious downfalls and stuff like that. So you might also want to throw in there, if they have a small rain jacket, maybe a change of clothes, some socks, and an extra pair of shoes in there, being something that they can change into once they reach a certain destination or whatnot. If you kind of get what I'm saying. What else do I got in here? And also, this item to me will come in super handy in a lot of different situations, and especially if your child is responsible enough to know that this is there for them as an emergency use only. I would say roughly about $20 cash. So you want to have a few small bills, let's say some ones, some fives, and also some change. Maybe have some quarters, nickels, dimes, maybe even a few pennies, however you want to do it, however you want to break that $20 up, put that, label it, seal it in a bag, and put emergency use only. You never know, they might be able to, I don't know, make a phone call. People are going to say, well, payphones don't exist anymore. Maybe your kid has a cell phone. I don't know. Some people deter their children from that certain ages to have cell phones. But maybe they'll have money to, let's say, stop at a store or, do something with it. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe they get hungry. It's longer, it takes a couple of days or whatnot to reconnect, or not reconnect, but to, what's the word I'm looking for, Gray? To, get back with your child, you know what I mean? Maybe it's more than a day or two. Just having a little bit of cash on them will go a long way as well, at least from my point of view. Like I said, everything is more of my opinion, and these are just my suggestions. It's up to you to take what I'm saying and build out your own kind of, emergency backpack for your child. These are just kind of like ideas that I've come up with for my children, specifically in a specific age group, and also folks that have asked me in the past, some of my friends and family that say, hey, what do you suggest in this? And these are some of the things that I've suggested for them. Also, so depending, again, everything is going to be age dependent. If you could have some activities in there, let's say a coloring book, some pencils, pens, maybe a deck of cards, some sort of things to get their mind off things. If they have a favorite book or something like that, but coloring and having some crayons or some sort of a small activity that they can do to keep their mind focused on something else once if they have that opportunity to do so. Also, some people, some kids have like a comfort item. Let's say they have, remember what is it, Charlie Brown with Linus? I think it's Linus with the blanket. Some people call them whoobies. Comfort blankets. Maybe they have a favorite teddy bear, a favorite toy, something that grounds them. Basically, you want to ground them to to family and to yourself and to home. Something that gives them a lot of comfort and kind of keeps them, focused on having a bit of peace of home, I guess, with them. Now, another thing, and this is going to be totally up to you folks, some people will put an identification card. I know certain kids can't have this or you can't get an identification card, I think, until a child is maybe, say, 15 in your state with, state identification. Some are older. I don't know how certain states work. But anyways, what I would suggest is, you can make one, or you can get it like a, little, what is it called, note card. Like a little 3x5 or something like that. You can take a picture of your child and put it on there, tape it on there. If you want to laminate this may also, but also add some pertinent information on there. Emergency contact phone numbers, your address, allergies, medications that they may take or depend on. Just an informative card to keep in their backpack. And if you laminate it and seal it, it's become weather resistant. So if someone happens to find your child and like, hey, where are you going, and they're lost or whatnot, they can find this card and like, okay, let me give your parents a call. If they can't reach you, at least they can come, maybe possibly bring the child to your home, or give this to law enforcement or whatever the case may be. But pretty simple with stuff, you know what I mean? These bags don't have to be some sort of, monster bag, something that they carry with them at all times, because you figure some of these kids, are going to be carrying some of their schoolwork in there, and things of that nature, you know what I mean? This is, to me, something that, me personally, like my brother's, not my brother's, he's my half brother, whatever you want, step brother. He has a small child, and I said, this is probably the best bet, because they're gonna, along with the items that you have in this bag, they're also gonna have some of their school supplies, and sometimes the schools will load them down, depending on the school and depending on the age group. But having these supplies in their bag at all times, I think, will be extremely beneficial. So hopefully, this will at least give you, like I say, my favorite term is to lay the seed, with you, and you can design, your emergency backpack for your child in a certain manner. Let's say if they're going to go out to a friend's house, have them take it with them. If they're going to school, have it taken with them. If they're going on a bike ride, have them take it with them. Whatever that they're going to do, get them in tune to taking this backpack with them. A, it's going to get them used to having it on them. B, they'll get used to carrying it around. It'll reinforce and reiterate to them that this is important and they need to go that. So again, back to step one is making that plan with your children and being very informative on how important this stuff can be to them. And then also maybe discuss with your child what would they like to see in that bag. What in their thoughts. You can talk to them like, hey, do you see anything? Excuse me. Every time I try to do a video, I cough. Anyways, have a conversation with them if they want to add anything to that. Make sure it's pertinent to what you're trying to do. And have them, be a part of that. When they're being a part of something, they're more apt to, carrying that bag with them or finding value in what you're trying to do for them. So hopefully this will help some of the folks out there, some of the questions that have been asked in the past, personally, and emails and stuff like that. So if you guys have any other comments or questions or things that you would add to this, or things that you do for your child in that kind of age group, like that 6 to 13 age group, please let me know down in the comments. I'd like to know, because by you guys sharing information with me helps me also reiterate some of the things that I think that are impertinent, and things that I may have forgotten or not thought of, you know what I mean? Because this is not some sort of full tactical backpack that they're going to be carrying at the end of the world. This is just something, a daily backpack that has some emergency gear in there for them, some in case they get lost or there's some sort of emergency situation. The last thing you want to do is not be able to contact your kid or not be able to find your child. It's such a scary situation. I can only imagine what parents have gone through in the past. But to me, this gives them at least a chance with some of the stuff in there, depending if you get separated or they get moved or they get lost in translation, so on and so forth. If you guys kind of get where I'm going down this path. But other than that, this is a nice quick short video, and again, like I said, drop any comments down below. Please, if you got any information out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. I truly appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe as well. I appreciate all your guys' time. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. This is GreyMan. I'm out. You guys have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys on the rebound.